All right, we're calling the huddle audible. We just had a WTOP huddle. We thought, all right, this will last a couple days, maybe a few hours it'll last. Dave Johnson, along with Dave Preston, Rob Woodfork, and George Wallace. We had to call that audible because decision made. Kyle Allen, now the starting quarterback for the Washington football team, starting with Sunday against the Rams. Alex Smith, the backup. And Dwayne Haskins, it seems, relegated to the third string. So I guess a good way to get Dwayne Haskins' job back is, to me, to start out by saying that he has it for the rest of the season, which is kind of how I started the last huddle, where I thought, you know what, he showed improvement after the 4-turnover performance against the Eagles. So let's ride with Dwayne Haskins. Let's see where this takes us. It may not take us to the promised land, but I thought it was critical, given how bad Cleveland was, that he did show signs of improvement against the Ravens, a good team, and that earned them the right to continue as a starting quarterback. Quite frankly, I didn't see a change coming. Quite frankly, and full disclaimer, obviously, we're not in the locker room. We don't really take the temperature of that football team. Ron Rivera is the one who really has the feel on his own football team, and he's made the decision to make the switch. I don't think this is good long-term for Dwayne Haskins' development. I understand it's a big boys league, and you have to take disappointment, and you can recover from being benched. But I just think, given the circumstances of Dwayne Haskins' first year and a half, it would have been a better situation to go with him longer. There, I have had my say, but obviously, as so often is the case, I'm dead wrong about so many things. And I should have read George Wallace's tea leaves, because when we were talking about Dwayne Haskins before, he was saying lukewarm. And I'm thinking, oh, there's no way they're going to change quarterbacks. And that's what we're talking. What did you know, George Wallace, that lukewarm feeling that you sensed that Ron Rivera had about Dwayne Haskins?
Just looking and just hearing some of the way Ron has been talking lately, guys. And I mean, just from, as he said last week, we're in a tough situation right now. He's in a tough situation. Our division is right there, and we're going to take it, kind of see where he goes and continues to develop. For me, it just starts triggering a thing. You know what? He's not 100% in on this guy. And I've said that from the beginning. And just last week when he said, yeah, it's his game to start, then we'll see what happens. Look, I'm not surprised by the move. I'm not. I think you take a step back, and like I said before, it's hard to convince guys in that locker room, especially guys that have come from winning programs, that you're going to punt on this season and that you're not, and you're going to develop a guy. Okay, fine. But if you see where you can win football games now, you have to do it. You're a head coach. You have to win. Like, you have to play to win the game. As my man Herm said, we went over this the other day. And a couple other things that I've kind of noticed the other day after the game, Dwayne Haskins, when he was asked about the fourth down goal from the 13, if this was a test, he goes, I didn't know it was a test. Hopefully I passed. Kind of dismissed it. He ran off the field the other day joking and jumping on Lamar Jackson as Jackson was doing an interview. Things like that just won't sit well. It won't sit well with that locker room. I don't know if veterans went to Ron Rivera and said, hey, we got to get this kid out of here. He's not taking this seriously. He's not doing this. That part I don't know, but just everything around it, I'm not surprised by it right now. And I think that we'll just see what happens going. And Ron said it. He said, look, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm making the decision. I'm the head coach, and I got to stick with it.
And I guess, and again, he's the one who really knows. I guess the surprise in it happened after the Ravens game and not after the game against the Browns. And something, Rob Woodfork, we talked about that developing a team and winning are not mutually exclusive. And so clearly timing is involved in here. Looking at the schedule, as much as there was all that hand-wringing about you didn't use your timeouts in certain games, clearly Ron Rivera is thinking about, I also want to win this season.
Yeah, and I believe that's what he was referencing today, was the fact that we are playing in a historically bad NFC East. I mean, it's the second worst division through 4 games in NFL history. So you have an opportunity where all 4 teams it's wide open. All 4 teams have a shot at it. Washington, in the midst of this rebuild, has a shot at it. And quite frankly, I think that this move puzzles me, because you had to know that, winning was going to be paramount for this team. And I know that it's a rebuild, and you're looking for progress, and you're looking for progressing these young players for the future. But coach's job, and this, because as a coach, Ron Rivera is doing the exact right thing. From a front office standpoint, if you're trying to win, for the long term, then you take a slightly different approach. Just like I said, in my column last week about, if you're serious about winning, go get Cam Newton, and it doesn't set Haskins back. So by starting him and playing him and now benching him and then taking him from the penthouse to the outhouse as the third string quarterback, that is what holds back his progression. If you told him going into the season, we're going to go with Kyle Allen this year, and if he gets hurt, then you get your opportunity. But he is, quiet as it's kept. He's also young. He's 24. He's got slightly more starting experience than Haskins does. And of course, all of that starting experience came within the context of this offense when they were in Carolina. So if you're trying to bring Haskins along for the long term, you sit him. Even if it's Kyle Allen, even if you don't want to touch Cam Newton, start Kyle Allen and you sink or swim with him.
Right. Well, no, and I guess I agree with you. And look, he's a mature person. You have to understand disappointment. I tried to date in high school, so we all know you understand disappointment. But the bottom line is, it just struck me as now hindsight's always 20/20. But your Cam Newton theory, or you start Kyle Allen at the beginning of the season, it would have been a cleaner situation. And so many layers here, Dave Preston. Also Alex Smith being named the backup, so that's another layer I didn't expect to be happening, that we'd be talking about this week. What's on your mind as this has been happening today?
Well, first, it almost feels like this was a decision that had to be made sooner or later. After 4 weeks, the Washington football team's 30th in the league in scoring and in total offense, 26th in passing, dead last in moving the chains on third down. They're one of 3 teams averaging fewer than 20 points per game. The other 2, the Jets and the Giants. So that's not the Boardwalk and Park Place of the NFL. That's more like the Mediterranean and Baltic Avenue. So I think they're looking for a little bit of a jump start. Defensively, they have allowed 30 points in the last 3 weeks. So it's not as though this is going to be a silver bullet that is going to, in effect, save this season. What I think may be the case when you try to figure out what might Ron Rivera be thinking here, he's given Dwayne Haskins 4 games to learn how to ride this offensive bike. This is the first time that Dwayne Haskins has seen this new bike. First time he's been on this new bike in traffic after an offseason where there were no OTAs, there were no preseason games. Sometimes maybe you give the guy a couple starts and then he sits on the sidelines and sees the other guy with the offense. Even though I don't think Kyle Allen can ride this bike as well as others per se, he's a guy who's familiar with the gears. He's familiar with the handlebars. He knows how to ride this to a certain level. He has a much lower ceiling than Dwayne Haskins, but perhaps this is an opportunity for Haskins to take a breath after 4 weeks, after getting sacked almost as much as anybody else in the NFL after 4 games. A chance for him to catch his breath and maybe get in gear for another run as a starter later this season. I was surprised to see Alex Smith as the number 2 quarterback. He hasn't seen the field in almost 700 calendar days, and even though he might be cleared to play from a football standpoint, being cleared to play and actually going on the field in high contact, high leverage situations are completely different.
Hey guys, don't overlook that factor too. The fact that Alex Smith is now climbing that depth chart again. Don't think that's not coincidental. I mean, I see that's he did not come all this way back not to not play again. And you never know what the corner office wants to see with Alex Smith. Now, I'm not saying Dan's pushing it. Ron Rivera is definitely in charge of this organization, but don't discount that fact either, that Haskins is now 3 and Alex Smith is 1 snap away from playing again.
He's 1 snap from getting snapped again, because
I'm just
don't want to put him on the field with Aaron Donald. He's 1 play away from having to see Aaron Donald.
I'm not going to put him on the field, Aaron Donald. I'm just telling you, somebody else might.
By the way, great use of the stats, Dave Preston. Earlier, Rob, great use of the word paramount. I haven't heard that in a couple of weeks, so that was good stuff as well.
I'm good for 1 vocab word per huddle.
But
By the way, if you guys realized how special this huddle is, Dave's got a tie on for this audible today. You see that?
Mhm.
I'm
Wow.
liking it.
Well, when you call an audible, you better look good, and that's what quarterbacks have to learn. But whether he gets on the field or not, doesn't that it certainly shocked me that okay, you make the change. That shocked me that it happened this week on Wednesday. Again, I thought if it was going to happen after the Browns game, but then you go from 1 to 3. I mean, what do you guys make of that? And also for Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah, there's a Simpsons GIF or a clip from The Simpsons. Stop, he's already dead. And I know that's a little extreme here, but that feels like to me with demoting Dwayne to QB3. All right, you're already benching him for a guy who didn't even grade well out of college, and Kyle Allen. I'm like, borderline irate this decision is being made. I don't think Kyle Allen's very good. He came into the league a little bit of a flash in the pan. There was no tape on him with the Panthers. Sure, he exceeded expectations. Then he crashed back down to earth big time. You're talking about you want to win, inserting this guy in. I think it's the wrong move, and I think that putting Dwayne at QB3, having him stand there, watch every rep today, they put him in an impossible situation with practice. And I don't agree with the decision by Ron. They went against Arizona, Cleveland, Baltimore. That's two number 1 picks at quarterback. Baltimore Heisman winner. Now you've got Jared Goff, another number 1 pick. What do you expect this guy to do? I think Rob said it a few weeks ago. He was put into an impossible situation, and they're only derailing his career more by doing this. I know he's 23 young and he can bounce back, but
and furthermore, have you seen Kyle Allen's stats? Have you seen him play in Carolina? He's not better than Dwayne Haskins. Their numbers are almost identical. He had 1 more touchdown than interception and a lot of interceptions, and he completed 61% of his passes. That's what you're getting from Haskins right now. So if you're talking about, I mean, he gives you a sliver of an advantage that he knows the offense better because he's got more experience in it. But to think that he's an upgrade that's going to help you compete with the Rams and the Cowboys and everybody, these NFC games that you got coming up, where's the evidence that that's even remotely the case?
And keep in mind, too, this is not Ron Rivera's quarterback. This staff did not draft Dwayne Haskins. It's not his first-round pick that he's got to worry about. And I mean, I even remember specifically asking Ron way back, did Dan tell you that Dwayne has to be your quarterback? He says he didn't tell me that I wasn't married to anybody on that staff or this roster. So it's maybe he's seen enough. Who knows? And it does contradict with what he said throughout the year. But I'm going to say, look, we've all seen how Ron Rivera has dealt with this and run with this organization and made the decisions. He's just making another one. He's not married to anybody on this roster. That's just the way I look at it too.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. He maybe didn't say it with his mouth, but you, George, you and I, we're parents. And Dave, we don't have to say certain things to the kids. Sometimes you just got to do this and just look at them a certain way, and that's saying everything that they need to know.
Yeah.
I'll never do it again, Rob. Sorry.
And by the way, Rob, all those stats, you just turned Chris from borderline irate to just plain irate. So now he's over there. But maybe that's the global issue, is George brought it up here. And boy, how often have we seen this, whether a coach was not a general manager's pick or a player was not a certain coach's pick? It's clear this is Ron Rivera's team to run, to see how he fits, and he has that right as the head coach. So is this like the slap in our face that Haskins is not really the quarterback for Ron Rivera, and it's going to take him a long way to get back off that bench? Keep in mind too that Dave, guys, last year Jay Gruden and the scouting staff didn't want this quarterback. He was told after the fact, look, hey, by the way, Dwayne's our guy. They didn't have a first round pick on him. I'm just saying, that's why none of this is totally surprising me, because, remember Jay was brought here to fix Robert Griffin III. How'd that work out? Yep.
And he had his guy. Ron Rivera, not necessarily told to fix Dwayne Haskins, but, he inherited him. And now he's seeing, here's what we really have to worry about, fellas. If Kyle Allen goes out, wins 5, 6, 7 games, then he's your starting quarterback next year. That could be a problem.
All right. Let's get the.
Not going to do that. That's definitely not happening.
Hey, just because you're irate, don't yell at me. I'm just telling you.
She
That's
is
just
not
what's in.
about that Kyle Allen life at all.
Actually, Chris needs to be sedated now at this point. I think it's clear from that. All right. This is just another short conversation about a quarterback in Washington. We could go on until about midnight tonight. We'll go around the horn and get just final thoughts and put this in the context with the Rams. I'll start with you, Chris, and then that'll give you a chance to calm down as everybody else speaks out. The Rams, the opponent on Sunday, it's going to be Kyle Allen. You think it'll be what?
I think it will be now. That is my new lock of the week. I know it was, but I'm sorry. I'm not trying to keep crushing the guy, but I just, I don't think he's very good. He's going to be able to get the ball to. I don't think anything really changes. I think the Rams win by double digits. Just too good of a force on both sides of the football, whereas Washington and George, is Chase Young any closer to coming back, or is he looking like he's out again? I mean, we saw the difference he made in week one. He's without him being on the field. The defense suffers tremendously, and I just think they can't get after Goff, and they'll lose by double digits, especially if Chase Young doesn't play.
I wouldn't be surprised if Chase is out again. He was working on the side again. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't rush him back with the groin injury. I wouldn't be surprised if he's out,
Well, you're just a load of laughs today, George. All right, let's go to Rob. Rob, your thoughts. The Rams on Sunday, and good luck, Kyle Allen.
The only thing this changes is the quarterback that Aaron Donald is going to break on Sunday. So just like Chi said, I don't think it changes anything. I think that Kyle Allen gives you the exact same thing that, not the exact same thing. He gives you a similar product as Haskins. He's going to throw the ball to the other team. He may know the offense better. He may be able to check into a couple of plays that are positive for you, but the sum total is blowout loss at home.
All right, Dave Preston, 6 more wins, you win the division.
Hey, and you get a mug too. I see a double-digit loss, but I see one maybe where Kyle Allen is able to take advantage of his knowledge of the Burgundy of the offensive system and get maybe a late garbage touchdown or two. So potentially a backdoor cover. But I don't see good fortunes this upcoming Sunday for the Burgundy and Gold. Rams are too good, even though the game is at 10 a.m. West Coast time, so their body clocks might be off. We're grasping at straws if we have to go to that as maybe a factor for Washington to win. 1-4, but they still, and unfortunately, they won't be in the division lead, sadly.
We'll be looking for Dave Preston's.
You can play this game at 4 a.m., and I think the Rams would still win by double digits.
And I think Dave Preston's going to do a series on circadian rhythms. That's coming to WTOP, so we got to look for that. Listen, this is always fun. We should do this every day. Oh, wait, we are doing this every day. The WTOP Huddle. We'll do it again next week. I wonder if we'll be talking about the quarterback.